Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be talking about another bang switch today in the way of that one from Blackout Defense. So Blackout Defense is like a legit aerospace company, like has parts on the International Space Station, kind of legit. Well, a buddy of mine from After Action Photography got a hold of me and said I needed to just go check these things out. So I made a call. The owner was cool enough to walk me through their operation. Then he's sending me home with a couple of triggers to test out and a couple for a giveaway. We'll talk more about that later. So of course, you know, and me, I slapped one in a lower, went out to the range, and the things just brought a smile to my face.
God, Jesus. Dude, like holy.
Well, this thing was definitely one of the best ones I've had out there. It's got some different things going on, which we'll check out. All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into these Blackout triggers. I've got the 3.5 pound version here in the silver, and the Black Nitride, the 4.5 pound version. So if you don't know what a drop-in trigger setup in here is, this is a drop-in setup where you can see everything is in this nice machine 7075 aluminum housing, and it's got some good stuff going on in here. So our trigger material is A2 tool steel, and then the disconnect material is A2 tool steel as well. And then the hammer material is actually S7 tool steel. So they've got really nice parts going on in here. But a regular trigger for these things is just literally a bunch of parts that you put together and is held in by pins. And I know a lot of you may know this, but some people may not. So you can see in there, all those parts are basically now contained inside of this housing because of the way they have designed it. So if you are familiar with drop-in triggers, you'll notice that there's no extension of the hammer spring right there. So they've redesigned this whole spring setup in here and how it connects to give it a more consistent, nice, cleaner like break, that glass break that we all want from a custom trigger. So you do have a couple ways you can install this. They have a great install video online. You can either use your regular pins and then set tension on your set screws, which you can see the valleys for right there. There is a second set of screws that you put on top of those, little bit of pressure on there, and it keeps the ones in there from ever backing out. Or you can use the anti-walk pins like in this one, and then set tension on these and then use your anti-walk pins. Totally up to you. They've got a great install video online if you want to check that out. I just wanted you guys to understand what is going on here. So they've done something very nice with the edges right here. These are actually hand broke and then kind of hand polished on those edges before they are coated, which is definitely a very nice touch because it feels just absolutely amazing getting your finger on there. All right, so now that I got my pull gauge, we're actually gonna do a couple of pulls in this. We'll start with the 4.5 pound version right here and make sure we get a good spot on here. Just do a couple of pulls to make sure it's under that 4.5 pound or at 4.5 pounds, which it looks like. That one is dead nuts at 4.5 or very close to it. Do one more as long as we don't get anything crazy, and then we will move on to the 3.5 pounder. Again, very consistent right there in that same spot, almost exactly 4.5 pounds, which is pretty much what that one feels like. Now the 3.5 pound version one, we're gonna do the same thing here. Okay, right there at 3.5. We'll do one more. All right, same thing right there. Extremely consistent on those pulls. So overall, very nice. Let's talk a little bit more about how these designed, what they do with these shoes, their performance, the price, all that good stuff that you guys want to know. Well, I gotta say, these are just flat out some of the nicest triggers that I have used out there on the market. Now, when I was walking through their factory, like I said, they were cool enough to invite me in there and show me their whole operation. They've got some really cool stuff coming out that we're gonna do some videos on. I noticed kind of like in the back, there was like a big cage area where all the cool parts were. There was like a lady in there that was like literally doing QC, but she was like hand breaking and hand polishing the little edges on the trigger shoe like that. And I kind of asked the owner, like, what are you doing that for? He's like, well, a machine can never really give that kind of, that finely polished rounded edge or that kind of finishing touch that they may need, which I thought was kind of cool because that shows just kind of how much detail they're going into over there with the actual feel of that trigger, like tactile wise, to go along with the feel that they've managed to get out of the trigger system itself. So with that kind of work that went into that thing, what about some of that range footage? All right, so let's talk about that performance. Flat out one of the best I've had the chance to run out there on the range. Definitely a very good feel to it, very clean, crisp break, great reset on that thing, and it felt just great tactile-wise on the finger. So going into that, we ran this thing super hard. Like we spent way more ammo than I was expecting to spend on it, to the point where, you know, once you've cleaned it and you've oiled it and you're out there running it, you get it super hot, all the smoke starts coming off there because it's burning off that oil. So I was running it, my buddy Mike, the photographer guy, he was running it. And we got that thing so hot that one of the steel-cased Tull ammo that we were left with at that point got stuck in the chamber. We had to pound that thing out, but then we just kept running it again. So absolutely great setup out there. So let's talk about the price on this thing. So they got two different versions. They've got the nitrided version, which is the one that is in there, nice and black. They do have an NP3 version, which was the silver looking one that we saw up close there. Now this one's the 4.5, the other one was the 3 pound. You can get them either way you want. Now the regular black version is gonna be 205, I think they said, and the NP3 is 255. And they do have their Gen 2 of rifles coming out, which I am definitely gonna get one to test for the channel. And I think they're gonna do something for you guys on that one as well. Well, I hope you guys liked learning about the Blackout Defense trigger systems. Like I said, they've got a lot more cool stuff coming out. Do everything you need to do to get set up for the giveaway. So like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff so you can get your opportunity to win one of these bad boys for the range. Guys, get out there and have some fun. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And I will see you guys on the next one.